All right, once we get that clip off, I get a little hi to everybody because, no controls here. Anytime, Vic, we're going to help me out. Oh, there we go. There you go. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Unpopular Reviews Entertainment. We are here talking about Austin Powers. As you know, Thursdays are host picks. And guess what? This Thursday is my pick. We got rid of the debacle of last week's Romeo and Juliet, and we're going to talk about Austin Powers. And this episode's so big, not only did we have the executive consultant on, we actually had special guests in the next Doctor. We actually had a special guest in the next Doctor, and we have special guest Ed Vidi Laspada, who joins us again. Hey, yo, Vincent, along with Danger Powers, the Mark, and CEO, the Superior. What the hell kind of name is that? What did you do that?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm not happy about that.
Don't do that.
Don't hold on. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh,
I don't even know who you are.
looks like you're fired.
I feel like I've been replaced, and I don't understand why. But ladies and gentlemen, we're here. We're talking about Austin Powers. Big show, big episode, big host, and we're going to take it off with our very first part of this episode, which is it was the best of scenes, it was the worst of scenes. And
No, we are not. We're going to take it off.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm throwing off.
Have another sip. Have another sip. So we're going to jump into the synopsis so you actually know what this movie is about while Chris takes a sip of his water. All right, so 30 years after his defeat, Dr. Evil makes his return and continues in his quest of world annihilation. With no one up for the task, there's only one man to stop him, one Austin Powers. But after 30 years in suspended animation, does the International Man of Mystery still have what it takes? Now, Chris, this was your pick. Can you tell us why you picked it?
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I picked this movie for one reason only. It's one of my favorite comedies of all time. Spoiler alert on my pick later. But it was one of my favorite comedies of all time. I actually have a lot of quotes from this movie. Like when I walk by and I see somebody and they're talking to me, I say, shh, right away. So that's about spoiler alert right there. It is a very, very funny movie. It put Mike Myers, I should say, on the map more so than that other movie he did, Wayne's World. But I really enjoyed it, and I hope that you've seen it, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Now we're getting into it was the best of scenes, it was the worst of scenes.
Can I just know before we do best of, another quote that Chris always uses from this movie is, and I remember one time we were at work and somebody came to talk to him, and he says, "Don't look me in the eyes." And the person just put their head down, and I was so the power that he exuded in that moment. When he commanded them, and it was like Thanos, like Austin Powers was like Doctor. I didn't know what it was like. The Emperor from Star Wars. He said, "Don't look me in the eyes when you talk to me," and they immediately put their head down. They knew, they obeyed. But anyway, it's the best of scenes, worst of scenes.
You know why it was magnificent? Because as magnificent as you are,
You can't remember. Intoxicated.
All right, now let's get into our best scenes, and we're going to start off with none other than you, Danger Powers. Since you're up top there, Danger, take it away.
All right, so I didn't really have a particular favorite in scene per se. There were a lot of jokes that I just liked, and they all are summed up in this. This movie literally is dedicated to the cheese factor, what I call it, right? They're spoofing the Bond films, the spy movies of the 60s and 70s, a lot of the Roger Moore aesthetic, with the gadgets and everything like that, and the Henchmen, okay, that we see. But I love the fact that they were dedicated to the cheese. And let me give you a comparison. If you look at Scary Movie 1 or 2, and you see the difference between that and the later iterations like Scary Movie 5, where it's just, I would describe it as goofiness for goofy's sake. This one actually had a plot that ran throughout, and no one was stepping out of their character. Everyone was true to who their character was supposed to be. It was a cheesy movie, but that was the point of it. And no one belittled their character in their portrayal. And I really, really did enjoy that. And they kept that all throughout, not even just in this one, but in the second one and the third one as well. So I really did enjoy that about this movie. And I'd say the overall cheese. And if we're going to say one that just made me laugh a lot, and I remember as a kid watching this movie, is when they're on his plane, on his private jet. And one of them, I'll say a quote from that scene, but when he gets on the bed, Vanessa, can I ask you something? Do I make you horny, right? And he's posing like he's modeling and everything like that. Oh, I'm sorry, somebody's calling. Reverberation, is that you? Oh, okay. And he's like doing these model poses and everything, and she sits on the edge of the bed, and he's such a goofball, but that's who he is, you know. And he's like, oh, I slipped and I fell and I've fallen on you, you know. And it's so over the top. I have to laugh at it because it's so ridiculous, but it's so funny because he's not playing it like Austin Powers is dumb. He's playing it like, yeah, I'm a horny spy. I get all the girls in where I come from, so I'm gonna get you too. I said it the minute I saw you, and I'm gonna get you. And every scene, he is committed to that, and I love it. It's just so funny to me.
That was good too.
Reverberation. I don't know if you want to go next.
Let's unmute him.
Okay, cool. Sorry. No, because I was setting things up over here. So, when it comes to this movie was smashing, baby.
Yeah.
When it comes to this, it's very hard to just pick a favorite scene. You know, I honestly, this is the first time that I've seen this movie sober. Because every single time that I've seen this movie before, I was either drunk or high, and it is awesome when you're like inebriated because it is so funny. Like, I was literally sitting here watching this on the train and people staring at me because I'm laughing my ass off at just every little aspect of this movie. I had more problems finding a scene that I didn't like instead of a scene that I did like. But the scene that I liked the most, honestly, in my opinion, because it's based on reality, was when Vanessa came to Austin. And then she was, you know, she tried to speak to him and try to like talk to him about vagina. She wanted to say to him,
I know exactly.
Look, I'm really concerned about her and blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, don't worry, baby. You shouldn't be concerned. I smashed her raw, baby. Yeah.
That's by the way, that's the one I couldn't say. But he's like, no, you have every right to be suspicious. I shagged her. I shagged her wrong.
I shagged her wrong, baby. Yeah. And then she's like, I hope you use protection. He's like, no, darling.
Yeah, I have my 9mm. Oh.
He's just like, only sailors use condoms.
But again, he's not doing it to be mean. That is who he is, you know.
Yeah, no. And then he goes on. She's like, in the 90s. Well, they should those dirty buckets. From port to port. Yeah. Oh my God. No, but the thing about it is that whole thing, and especially right afterwards, it just shows that it's based on reality. Even if because he was brutally honest about who he was. It didn't matter. She still got all jealous and all in her feelings. You know what I mean? And he didn't. And the night before, he was a good guy. So, darling, you're drunk. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That showed his true character.
Exactly. It showed who he was. But then in the next night, he's just like, I smashed her raw, baby. Yeah.
But he says, I can't do it, Vanessa. You're drunk. And so I don't know if your actions are your own or if it's the wine talking or the champagne that they were having, right? And he slept with a lot of vagina. Yeah, he was attracted to her, but he that's his job. He's getting intel. And I like that he was able to separate the two of them. And he was dead honest. He said, what are you so upset for? I'm being honest with you. You wanted to lie, you know. I agree with you completely. It's a great.
And then later on in the scene, when they were like dressed up as other people, she was like, "Is she prettier than me?" She kept getting, and she just stayed jealous. Like,
he had forgotten all about her at that point.
Forgot the why.
And then she finally calmed down when he said, like, she's the village bicycle, baby. Everybody
gets a ride.
Everybody rides her.
Everybody gets a ride. Yeah, I'm like, everybody wants to steal from this movie. I'm so happy that I saw it again. You have no idea. Like, I just, oh man. I can't wait to see the next two.
Oh, you've never seen the Spy Who
No,
Loved Me?
no. The thing is,
I mean,
I've seen it before, but it's like I've seen all three of them, but it's been over a decade.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
so like there's a lot of things you forget. So watching it again, is just awesome.
We're definitely going to watch the second one, The Spy Who Shagged Me. We'll probably watch Goldmember 2 just to finish the trifecta. But Goldmember was not as good.
I thought The Spy Who Shagged Me. That's my favorite one, by the way.
Yeah.
Spy to Shag Me or Internet. It's a toss up. It's like Spider-Man 1 and 2 for me. See the Superior, on to you.
All right. So my favorite scene, it was a couple, but one of the ones that really stuck out was the bathroom scene. When the Lucky Charms guy comes in from the back. That's what she said. And takes him and tries to strangle him. And then he gets him with the, "Ooh, does number 2 work for?" And the guy next to him was thinking something else was going on. I thought that was a really funny scene. And also the scene, it was a really short, quick scene. It wasn't even the whole scene that was my favorite. It was just this one part when Vanessa, she's showing him like the new gadgets and stuff. And then she takes him to the next thing, which has like the toothpaste and the toothbrush, like it was, and he thought it was a new gadget. That was one of the funniest scenes because, yeah, his teeth were messed up. So, yeah, funny scene. Those were probably my 2 favorites.
Vincent, on to you.
So I have 2 scenes. One I think is just I feel like if you didn't catch it, it's so quick that if you don't catch it, you have to rewind it. But when they were walking through the casino and the one guy had the thing, he goes, "Hey," wait, you know what he said? He said, he goes, "Hey, do I know you?" And he goes, "No, but you're there." That to me, it was so funny because he had this looking shirt on. Even when the camera panned, he was still standing there like, what the hell just still happened? Like what's going on? Literally, what's going on? And then the other scene is when he was getting out of the chamber and they were giving back his stuff. And they were saying like, "One handmade boot." And then they bring out the penis pump, and he's like, "That's not mine, baby." And then the end with the book, and it says, "This is your baby."
How to use it? It's my bag, baby.
It is my bag, baby. You have to title the book, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that until I actually went online, and they sell the book.
Nice.
On Amazon. And I was like, "Wow, that was the book." Okay, all right. So that's why he said that.
Yeah, I think there's this one company or one guy that makes them. Like when we did Beetlejuice, I was going to actually order it. They have the Handbook of the Dead that they use in Beetlejuice. So they sell like different memorabilia books that you see in movies and everything like that.
I didn't know that.
I'll get it.
That's cool.
I know you like that movie.
Oh, the penis pump? You can keep that.
The movie. The movie. This is just a dirty mind. You hear, ladies and gentlemen, those of you listening, you can't see what she's doing on screen, those who are listening to the podcast, but she is being filthy right now.
On to the next doctor.
She's doing on screen right now. She should be ashamed.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
All right. So my favorite scene was actually the opening sequence. After they show Dr. Evil, they go to Austin and he's going through the streets.
Oh, yes.
He's dancing and, he's going back and forth. And then they go to the club. Like that whole thing just tells you what this movie is about. It's over the top. It's not taking itself seriously. And it's just fun.
Yeah.
And that really sets the mood for the whole movie. And that's why it was my favorite scene. Because right off the bat, it's like, hey, this is what you're getting. If you don't like it, at least it's right here at the beginning so you can get your money back.
Yeah.
This is what the rest of these, 90 minutes are going to be. So that was my favorite scene.
And the song is I love the song. Like it's probably one of the most iconic comedy movie songs. Like in any comedy.
Where that song comes from, Christy?
I don't.
I'll give you a hint. The person who composed that song has something to do with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Nice.
Jazzy Jeff?
Quincy Jones.
Oh, Quincy Jones.
Nice. Yeah.
That man is working.
It's called Soul Bossa Nova.
Speaking of
Great song.
music, there was another scene. It's like like a mid-credits part where they're singing a song about the BBC.
Oh yeah, I like that song too.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that it was actually Mike Myers. Like he has a band called Ming T, because I looked it up because I didn't remember seeing the credits. Like, this was before Marvel. When the credits rolled, I would just stop watching the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked it up, and it's actually a band, Ming T, that Mike Myers has that he's sings in. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Because when I heard it, I was like, oh man, it's a really good song. I wish it was a real song. I listen to it on Spotify, and it is actually a legit song. So
are they also the same band in Goldmember when they were like Daddy Wasn't There? Are they the same ones that sing that song?
That was a good song
That sing as well?
Might be. I didn't look that up.
That's my favorite song out of all three movies. When they say, because he gets so into it, like talk about like how you said, like this is what this is about. I'm going full throttle. You don't like it, now's the time to leave. And then he goes, and then it just cuts back to the segment of the movie. It was like a little dance montage of a 60s dance show, and now back to the show. It was great.
The whole soundtrack, honestly, was great. Like even watching the movie, it was like every song they played was like, oh yeah, this is I can get down with this.
Yeah.
But on to the next, we got the CEO.
Yes, because I don't feel like changing my name to the executive consultant. Let's go ahead and talk about some favorite scenes of mine. My favorite scene, of course, was Dr. E. I'm sorry, the beginning opening montage, as Rashad said, but I won't talk about the musical part. I'll talk about when he got into the club and there was a waitress trying to serve some drinks. And as he was thinking, he ended up punching her in the face. And when he punched her in the face, you're thinking, why did he just punch this poor woman in the face? But because of wonderful camera work, and someone who watches James Bond, he's seen this. Seen that they're mimicking. Okay, you can clearly see there was a woman before, and after you punched her face, it's a straight up dude. That wasn't my favorite scene, but I feel responsible enough that I have to mention that scene because that scene was pretty darn funny. Right.
Well,
another pretty darn funny scene. I won't go too much into it. Was during the unfreezing process, where he had to go to the bathroom. Everybody knows after a long time, he goes to the bathroom, right? He goes to the bathroom. He's doing his business, and his business did his own business as it was taking forever. And every time they thought it was done,
kept going.
It was not complete. So that was the scene. We talked about penis enlarger. I'll talk more about the part where he left him, unattended to die. Of course, the infamous scene and stuff like that. When he asked Scotty for a hug was a good scene to me. Also, I want to go ahead and mention my runner-up was his laughing scene with all the other evil business people around.
Oh, yeah.
Where he was like, and then they were like, okay, what are we laughing for? What are we doing? So I have to give credit. I have to give credit to that scene. That scene was pretty darn funny. And then last but not least, exactly. But see how that ends. No, it doesn't.
Just fades into the awkwardness.
The one that takes the cake for me though, was the scene where they went to family therapy, and Dr. Evil decided to tell his story.
Yes.
And she was all like, Scott was like, hey, I really don't think he likes me. I think he's trying to kill me. And she said, what everybody who hears something like that, like, oh no, he's trying to, bull crap and give him a hand job. Oh no, he's not really trying to kill you. And then Dr. Evil said, well, the boy is actually pretty astute. I am trying to kill him, but so far, unsuccessfully, he's pretty spry. I'm like, oh my God.
Did you catch the therapist was?
He's trying to kill his own son. So that was pretty funny to me. So that's my favorite scene of the movie. Let's go ahead and get to our worst scenes. We're going to go back up there.
The therapist was?
Huh?
Did you catch who the therapist was?
That was the woman from the Brady Bunch.
No, isn't that what's her name from Star Wars?
That was Linda Hamilton.
That's Terminator, Chris. Take another sip. Take another sip. Take another sip.
That's what's her name? Carrie something.
Who is it, Chris?
Carrie.
Leia Skywalker.
It's the person who says it's time for the worst scenes. It's time for the worst scenes because we're coming up on the end of this segment. So James, take it away with the worst scene.
All right, worst scene. I'm gonna start it off as Chris takes another sip of his water.
See how he gives you the benefit of the doubt with water. I love it because I.
You know what? But the thing is, you need H2O. You need H2O.
I need H2O. Christy, what are you having today? Is it a line? Is it Hennessy? What is it?
See this sexism going on here.
Crazy, right? You're very subdued this episode, so it might be an upper. You know, who knows?
My normal. That's because I'm the executive this episode. Do you not see the glasses that I've had?
All right, so I'm
sorry. To stay in character.
So worst of scenes. I'll start this one off. I will say again, I don't really have a bad scene. I enjoy this movie. Spoiler alert, right? But if I'm gonna say anything that I like the least, with the exception of one person because he's a recurring character, hey Spider-Man, with the exception of one character, it's sorry, that just for those watching, you get that joke. Is the Henchmen. And why is that? Because they're not memorable. Now I recognize the callbacks to the Bond films that they're supposed to be from, but they're not memorable. They don't have something that like a hook or a line, you know what I mean? I love the names. The names are goofy as hell. You know what I mean? What is it? A random task who throws his shoe.
Yes. Yes.
It's so disrespectful that I have to call somebody now a random task. And I have to do that. But if you compare him,
give me ideas.
Man,
she's part of like the executive board. I guess you're gonna say, no pun intended. Or if you compare him to Fat Bastard, who's a true henchman, they don't compare. And as I said, I've already said the second one is my favorite one. Hi, Spider-Man. The second one is my favorite one, and Fat Bastard takes that one. So again, even though I loved his name, Random Task, you don't get a better name than that. And there we go. But the henchmen were kind of lackluster to me in this one. I'll say that as my worst.
All right.
We're gonna jump over more.
Okay, so after watching it twice, find something that I didn't like. I guess the only thing that I didn't like is when they got away using the dental floss. I felt like it was corny. The whole thing with the dental floss and the toothpaste. And I felt like that was. I mean, it was a little funny, but it was just corny how they threw the dental floss, wrapped around the thing, and then swung out. You know, that was just overkill.
And the guard is
because it went well with what Dr. Evil was saying earlier. It's an easy to get out situation.
Yeah.
And it's a throwback to, I mean, the henchmen just looked at him.
Yep.
Them get out the floss. They looked at him throw it. They looked at him fight himself and catch it. They looked at him swing. Well, no, he didn't, because at that point he had judo chop toothpaste. But he just looked at the whole thing. Was like, you have a gun in your hand. At any point, but you're just looking, and I thought that was hilarious.
And it was like he was quizzical, like, "Oh, I wonder how you can get away with that." You know, it wasn't like I'm trying to stop you. It was like,
"Oh wow!"
I mean, listen, man. This entire movie is just hard not to find something that you just don't like. This is.
I definitely agree with you there. Definitely.
Well, we'll find out because Chrissy's worst stuff is next, and usually she is the hater. That's what we call her.
You are the hater, as Vincent knows from last time. You are the hater.
I'm the hater. What? Come on.
Yes. So, but I will go into my least favorite scenes. Thank you for that marvelous introduction. My least favorite scene is, I'll say my least favorite, but it was a funny scene. So it's my least favorite, not because it wasn't a good scene, but because it's just not fair. It's not fair because in every movie almost, you see plenty of vagine, you see plenty of breasts thrown in your face, breasts for years. But then they have the scene where they was trying to tease the peen, but they kept covering it up. And had it have been the other way around, they would have showed the breasts. And I know they tried to redeem themselves later with the whole Vanessa and then the melons and stuff. But if you pay attention, they have a whole picture of real breasts that they use. But when it comes to Austin Powers, you got to imagine the peen. It's got to be sausages and fingers and stuff like that. And that's why I think it's unfair in the film industry. They're quick to show breasts. They're even nowadays quick to show vagine and coo, as we spoke about in the last episode. We were talking about Harley Quinn and that movie. What's it called?
Suicide Squad.
Not in Birds of Prey. She wasn't Birds of Prey, but the movie that she showed her vagina. That movie.
Wolf
yes.
of Wall Street.
So they always trying to hide the peen, and so that was my least favorite scene. The least favorite scene because again they hide the peen, but every other movie in the universe of the history of movies shows the breasts and now the vagina. So that's
very fair. I'm all joking aside. That's very fair, and that's accurate with what you're saying.
Thank you. Thank you.
I never really thought about that, but yeah, that's.
To be clear, I was talking to Mark, but Chrissy, no, I'm joking. But Chrissy, I just had to tease you. You're absolutely right. I'm all joking aside. You're absolutely right.
Thank you. So that was my least favorite scene, even though it was a funny scene.
All right, so we have Vincent coming up.
She's mad because there's not a bunch of penises on her.
I'm going to tell you this. I don't really have a bad scene. I'm just going to tell you this. We've gone very far from 99, from when the movie was made until now, with how we do the camera tricks and actually filming two characters as the same person at the same time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Austin Powers, I felt like, didn't do that great of a job because there are parts that you can see that, like, if Austin Powers is the character and they show Dr. Evil was skinnier in some shots than he was as Michael Myers. And then when they show Michael Myers...
Not to interrupt you, but don't you think they did that on purpose? Because I know what scene you're talking about. It was just like so obvious that was not really him doing it. And I always felt like they did that on purpose.
I mean, they could have. They could have, but like, I mean... why? Here's my question: why would they do it on purpose? Like, what's the funny part about that? Like, like, okay, I'll give you an example.
It's cheesy.
I know it's cheesy, but it's like, okay, in the second one, Spy Who Shagged Me, right? At the end, when Mini-Me's fighting Austin Powers, there was like 4 or 5 scenes where you can definitely tell that it's a doll. Like and it's funny, but at the same time.
I think they do it to spoof themselves. I think the next doctor hit on the head earlier when he was like, "This is what it's about," and we're not going to apologize. Like, also some things they do to spoof the the Sean Connery and Roger Moore James Bond movies. And I think one of the things they were trying to do is double scenes. It's a difference in technology. Difference in technology between the 90s and now is definitely you could definitely tell. But another time period you can tell is the difference between technology in the 90s and the 60s. So. Just showing you how far they came. I mean, like I said, that scene you're talking about, which I completely understand. This is the scene where he was showing him the rocket, and that was supposed to go and melt the earth with liquid magma. And and he walked. After doing that, he walked past Austin Powers and Vanessa, and you could tell he was not the same person. But I really felt like they were doing that to make fun of themselves. I really do feel like they were doing it. But I could be wrong. But I understand why you're saying that. I'm just saying. In my opinion, I think they did that on purpose.
I'm sorry, but Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't there a scene, the sequence with Blofeld, and I don't know if it's Roger Moore who's chasing him in the helicopter, and they have one of those scenes where it's supposed to be the actor? Oh no! And Blofeld is fleeing in the helicopter, and it's supposed to be the same actor, but they changed out the actor and like the stunt.
Correct. Yeah. Nobody played Blofeld twice in the James Bond series until now. But besides that, no one played him twice, and they made the actor try to look as similar to the original as possible. But it was not. It was a body double, and that was when Roger Moore was in it. Yeah. And he took a helicopter and he scooped him up and dropped him down.
Yeah, and he dropped him in the shoot.
Right. Yeah. So I agree. But Vince, back to you. It's your segment.
Right, you want to hijack his worst scenes. Can't let him get it out. Go ahead, Vincent. Don't be shy. Tell them why you didn't like the crappy switch outs and the double talk and all of that. Don't be shy.
We'll go to the doctor while Vincent preps.
All right. I also agree that there weren't many bad scenes in this movie. It was hilarious. But there was one that. I don't know. It just kind of was a little slow. The one where they infiltrated the secret lair, and they were running away from the guards, and they got on the steamroller, or maybe it's just a roller, because there was no steam.
Yeah.
You know, it was like they're gonna run over the guy, and it's so slow. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's a little funny. But it's like it was just too slow, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was smooth too, though. I think there was another joke, but I think
it was a lot.
Loved it.
You know, they were
loved it. I meant to put in my favorite scenes. Loved it.
I just think they dragged that one out too much.
Because of all the things to be able to get out of the way of, how do you get run over by a steamroller?
You know what it reminds me of? Rashad might remember this. I used to watch this series on YouTube. It's called Honest Trailers, right? And there was a movie that came out. We'll probably never review it.
I know you're going to say.
It's called Prometheus, right?
Exactly.
It's called Prometheus.
School of Prometheus running.
And I don't know who's seen this movie, but there was a scene where the ship fell.
Yeah,
the ship fell, and it was going straight and fall. And the woman decides to run from the thing falling, so she runs in a straight line. You look at her like zigzag. You look at her like female dog. If you don't go right or left,
that's a trope in those kind of movies. I noticed they kind of like Jurassic Park and all.
Just rolling like that, and she doesn't. She can go left or right. No, I'm going straight.
It was hilarious. I always recommend Honest Trailers.
They also did that in Superman Returns.
Yeah, they did. Actually, in Man of Steel, they were about to do it when when they were destroying Metropolis, and I thought she was going to do it, but then she cut in the alley, and I was like, oh, good, a smart one. Hold on, I'll do you any better. I said, oh, good look, a smart one. All right, so let's go ahead.
Sexism continues.
I'm sorry, Rashad, was that you, or can I say my worst?
Yeah, that was it for me.
All right, I
need to go back.
I do have a worst. Okay, 10:30. All right, cool. My worst is very simple. You want to talk about technology, Vince? This is the technology that they had. So there was a scene, and they actually recreated a little bit in The Spy Who Shagged Me, where Vanessa is talking to her mom. Austin's asleep in the bed. And she's eating food, and she's playing with things, and as she does it, they try to make it look like insinuating that it was the size. Huh?
That was my worst scene, yes.
Yeah. The only problem I had with this worst scene as opposed to you was
not enough pain. I agree.
No. So if you look at that scene very carefully, you can actually see where Elizabeth Berkley is watching the monitors to make sure she's doing everything properly. It's good, bro.
That's a good catch.
So watch it again. You'll see it. She's watching it heavily. And I didn't see it at first. I didn't catch it at first, but then I saw it. Somebody brought it to my attention. And when you see it, as they say on social media, you can't unsee it. So it bothers me now every time I watch it. She's literally watching those. She was a supermodel at the time. She wasn't an actress, but she's literally watching that thing like crazy. Why are you wearing a mask?
That makes sense.
I didn't notice that. That's
at the end when they're doing like the photo shoot, I was like, man, she's really pretty, and like she's really modeling well for this photo shoot. I wonder if she is a supermodel. I didn't bother to look it up because I didn't really care that much, but
she was a supermodel. But I mean, all things considered, she did a great job. Not a good actress, but she did a great job for it. But yeah, that scene, it really did bother me. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Unpopular Reviews Entertainment Edition, Austin Powers. We are way over time, but we have 6 people. Big episode today. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about next Tuesday. We'll be right back at this brief commercial message. You're watching Unpopular Reviews. Watching Unpopular Reviews. Stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
This will be a tradition we celebrate every year. Join the first purge.
What have I done?
Run! Stay strong now. I'm coming.
Just remember all the good the purge does.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Unpopular Review Entertainment Edition, talking about Austin Powers. Next Thursday, the last pick before we do our straight movie episode is going to be about the first Purge, not the first movie Purge, because unfortunately we did the thumbnail wrong. Chrissy looks like she's ready to fire me, but we did that wrong. Yes. But it's going to be the movie The First Purge, and we're going to discuss that. and we're going to talk about that. So
question real quick. What kind of water do you drink? You Zephyr Hills, Aquafina, Fuji?
Don't ask me that question because you know I don't lie.
What kind of water is it? Spring water? Just
Russian water. It's pronounced vodka.
Okay.
Water.
Okay.
The Russian water.
Oh, the Russian.
I would say that one of the ingredients is H2O.
Okay.
How much potatoes versus
next morning
versus H2O is in that?
Water, H2O.
So shook, he's frozen. Look at him.
But yes, so upcoming guys, we have our 31 days of Halloween coming up for UPRE. So look forward to that. Nothing but Halloween movies, scary movies, all your favorites. So come back.
Let's follow.
We'll be talking about it.
Follow your own rules.
Hold on, guys, real quick. Do you guys, for Halloween, do you guys watch a movie every night?
Well, no, but I love Halloween. Halloween's my favorite holiday. But we are doing 2 movies a week. So Tuesdays we'll be doing a scary movie. Thursdays we'll be doing a scary movie. But do you watch a scary movie every day?
Well, hold on. So last year I was unsuccessful to watch a movie every night for Halloween for 31 days. So this year I'm getting my list together and I'm going to do 31 Halloween movies every single night and sometimes 2.
All right. Well, join us. We'll be doing a couple. Check them out.
We'll be talking about it. It's going to be a fun time, ladies and gentlemen. But speaking of fun times, let's talk about the quotables for this movie. There's somebody that actually asked to join, so it's actually going to be 7 people on for a couple minutes. It's about to be a mess, but it's going to be 7 people on for a second. James, let's start real quick with you. Your quotable for this movie.
So again, I mentioned the scene when they're on the jumbo jet. And Vanessa, she's really talking about something in depth and everything. And Austin, he's looking like he's paying attention to what she has to say. And then he goes, "That's fascinating, Vanessa. Listen, why don't we?" He goes, "That's fascinating, Vanessa. Listen, why don't we go in the back and shag?" Now, my final thoughts. I'm going to explain further why I think that's hilarious. But I love the honesty of this movie because this is a testosterone-fueled movie. Okay, unabashedly so, unapologetically so.
Facts.
And there are certain movies that try and beat testosterone, but to a certain respect, this is how guys think sometimes. We may listen to you. This is going to be, you're not going to want to hear this, but I'm just going to say this. You may think we're listening to you, and maybe we are, but only to pass the test. Why? Because we want.
Facts.
Okay? So when he goes, "That's fascinating, Vanessa," he was like, "Let's cut the fat out. Listen, why don't we go in the back and shag? That's why I'm paying attention to you right now. But I'm being honest about it. Don't you love it?" So I just thought that was hilarious. The other line that somebody said, I can't remember who said it, if it was Vic or the doctor, when they were like, "No, don't be sorry, baby. You're right to be suspicious. I shagged her. I shagged her rotten." Right. And of that, he was like, "No, you're not crazy at all."
Baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's groovy, baby. Yeah, shagadacious, baby.
Are you Vanessa or you Austin? What's going on?
I just wanted to join to say, do not make you guys horny, baby.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Smashing.
No.
Bob.
Yeah. We
Yes, Bob.
baby, and we lit, baby. Yeah. Y'all reviewing the shagadocious movie, Austin Powers. And I just wanted to tell you guys it's totally groovy, baby. Yeah.
Well, thank you, sir. Or ma'am. It's a man, baby.
Hey, guys.
It's a man.
You guys are doing
I'm going to need a red cup for the next episode. I swear to you. I'm going to need a red cup for the next episode.
A groovy compliment because you guys are so wavy, baby. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Keep it going, and when y'all do Austin Powers Through the Spy Who Shagged Me, I want to go on that review show because I want to go get in my belly.
It has different connotations when you wear that wig. I don't know what's going on.
How about Nose?
Oh.
How about Zip It? How about zipit.com? But anyway,
right, let me finish
I
these
didn't mean to interrupt you guys' show. I just wanted to come through show y'all some psychedelic love because I'm high off the shrooms, baby. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for stopping by.
On the shroom.
what do you say, psychedelic love?
Yes.
Psychedelic shrooms.
For those
I could have sworn he said it.
Podcast, that was as weird for you as it was for us. All right, so my final quote is from another scene that Chris mentioned when he talked about when they went to the therapy session, right? And Carrie Fisher's character says to Dr. Evil, says, "Why don't you tell us about your childhood growing up?" And he looks around, he's like, "All right, I guess if you're asking for it." And he starts
this scene was crazy.
Born and whatnot, and how he grew up and everything, and if he was punished. And then he says something. He starts talking about his dad, and this just made me crack up because I've never heard anything so stupid and ridiculous until that previous segment that we just ended. When he goes, he would make outrageous claims like he invented the question mark.
Hell yeah!
I kind of in real life want somebody to say something crazy like that to me because I want to know what my reaction would be. Like, do I try to understand? But there's a guy that like a background actor, and the son is looking like, what is going on? And the father looks at his son like, this is what you bring me to? You think that I'm the same as this guy here? And then he goes, Dr. Evil goes, he would tell me how he thought chestnuts were lazy. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. So it just hilarious to me. Hilarious.
Oh yes. Yeah, I absolutely lost it. He said he invented the question mark.
Yeah. Outrageous claims.
I
love it.
Wonderful. I can use that all the time on this show.
Yo, I see the thing. The reason I love that is because that went around for so long.
Yeah.
That went around for like at least 5 years. Like, no, I have another whole bag of with your
preemptive shit.
Yeah, that was my favorite. I know. And mind you, here's another one. No, this is another one right here that I know I'm gonna probably use for the rest of my life. And I'm so glad that I was reintroduced to this because this is awesome.
Pardon me for being rude. It was not me. It was my food. It just popped up to say hello, and now it's come back down below.
Gross. The most, I guess, rhyming way to say I farted. Disgusting.
That shit is awesome. Oh,
and it worked though, because she was still like, ooh. Yeah.
And it was in a hot tub. Do you know it was cooking?
She was like, no, right after that, she was like, no, it's funny because she was like, that's beautiful. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, she was still down. She was still TTI.
Yeah, she was good. Well, you know, she's the village bicycle baby. Everybody had a rat.
Oh yeah, 3 for 3 quotes. Good. All of them out of the park.
Oh wow, that just came out of nowhere. Anyway, I'm done because we got a lot.
Wonderful.
All right, Chrissy, your quotable, please.
My quotable. All right, so this is what we got. The first one is, this was a scene. One of I think it was James who had this favorite scene in the plane when he was saying, pretty much, yeah, let's chat. Then she was like, oh no, Austin, never. I would never date you or sleep with you. And then he says, I've been frozen for 30 years. I've got to see if my bits and pieces are still working. His bits and pieces. And then he goes on. He's like his fruits and berries, his sticks and whatever. I thought that was a funny quote. So yeah, that was one of mine. And the other one I have it because I just thought it was a funny scene when he's first introduced to Vanessa and he's just waking up from his frozen stupor. And he says, my God, Vanessa has a fabulous body. And I bet she shags like a lynx. And he's saying this all out loud, thinking he's saying it in his head. So I thought that was funny. So those are my 2 quotables.
How do I tell her without the unfreezing process? I have no inner monologue. Comedy. Vince, take it away. You're quotable.
I got a couple. So I think the part when Dr. Evil was trying to explain how evil his son is, you're semi-evil, you're kosher evil, you're margin evil, you're a Diet Coke of evil. Just 1 calorie, not enough evil.
If I can make a slight adjustment to that, that was in Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was in part 2.
Well, I'm sorry, because I watched both of them last night, so I got them mixed up.
Still a great quote. Still a great quote.
But I
We'll take it.
Yeah.
I do got one. The part when when he was telling him what he wants to do for a living, and he said he likes animals, he wants to be in there. He's like, you want to be an evil vet?
Yeah, it's like you always do that.
Yes.
Oh, that was great.
And
Hold on.
What?
You don't remember that?
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And then the second one I have is when he's like, "Danger's my middle name." That's all I got. Those are my 2 favorite quotes.
Wonderful.
2 good quotes though, Vince. 2 good quotes, man. Danger is my middle name.
What's the sentence, Chris?
Danger is my middle name.
No, I couldn't understand the first. What did you say?
Blame it on the water.
Yeah.
Right.
Blame it on nothing. Rashad, take it away. Quotable.
All right, so mine is I think it was alluded to before, but when they arrived in Vegas and Austin's coming out and he's like, there you are, to this random bystander, and the guy like sticks out his hand and he's like, hey, do you know me? It's like, no, but you're there.
No, but there you are.
That's a really a-hole move, and that's something I would probably do. So I might have to do that next time I go to Vegas.
I really want to do that so bad.
My other one is
Chris did that to a homeless person who was asking for change.
Oh my God, yo, I can so see that happening. I really could. I can just imagine that happening. Yo, wow. Yes.
He acknowledged that he was rolling up his windows and not missing a beat. And I were having. He didn't even say excuse me to me. He just rolled up the window. They said not today.
In my defense, it was a complete. In my defense, it was a complete unconscious move. I wasn't aware I was doing it.
It was it was a natural inclination for him to. It was natural.
All right. Let me talk about my quotable.
I'm still on mine. So the one is when they were when he was when Dr. Evil was talking to the UN, telling them how much money he wanted, and they're like, so Mr. Evil, and he's like, whoa, no, it's Dr. I did 6 years of evil medical school to be called Mr. Evil very much. I just love that.
Oh, man.
To being Dr. Evil.
Yeah, that was great.
This is a long episode, ladies and gentlemen. We're supposed to be on final thoughts right now. We haven't even made to recast it. But Rashad, thank you so much. I forgot that scene. That was also a really good scene. I still use that sometimes when people try to call me out. Like, hold up. I spent 6 years in imaginary school to be called not executive consultant. Thank you very much. But it was great. That was great. Hey, you know what? The good thing about Austin Powers, I think we all can agree on, was between Austin Powers and Dr. Evil alone, which is all Mike Myers' characters, believe it or not. There are a lot of good quotes in this movie. A lot of good quotes. A lot of quotes I still say to this day. I'd say I mentioned I love the laughing scene. $1 million is still popular today. I wish I had it, even though it's not worth as much money. It's so many good things. I definitely remember when he tried to give Scotty a hug, and he was like, "Give me a hug." No, come on, pronto. It was great. I can quote that whole scene. It was so fabulous. And the thing about it is, I didn't see that movie. I saw a trailer. I was like, "What the hell is this? I don't want to see it. I'm not going to watch it." And then as I was coming home with one of my boys, he was like, "Shush" to me. And I was like, "Shush? What the heck is a shush? What are you doing? This doesn't work. What are you talking about?" And he was like, "It's from Austin Powers. You need to see it. The movie is comedy. I was like, "That looks stupid as heck. It's Michael Myers. I didn't like Wayne's World. I'm not going to like Austin Powers. It looks stupid." I saw it, laughed and cried the whole time. One scene, nobody asked you. One scene that they talked about, that we haven't talked about. And we talked about almost every scene in this movie.
Quotables, ladies and gentlemen, quotables.
One thing that we haven't talked about yet, I'm going to give him respect. I'm going to give respect.
We're over time, but
number two tried to betray.
Oh, yes.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Number two tried to betray Dr. Evil at the end, right?
Rushes everybody.
If you ever watch the end of the scenes that were deleted, you'll see this. They were Dr. Evil, not Dr. Evil. Number two, when Austin Powers were arguing over the Fendi briefcase. Because they wanted to know how much it was going to cost, right? Because he said I'll give you, this case has $1 million, and Austin counted it was like $100,000 short, and number two was like, hey, I had to buy the briefcase, right? They kept going back and forth over so much. Dr. Evil was like, all right, I had enough, and he hit the thing, and Dr. Evil went and got fired. Oh my gosh, that reminds me of another scene.
So Chris, is
because he's very badly burned. Hold up, what?
We are over time.
Yeah,
all right.
Quotables, not his favorite scenes. We're past that.
I'll say this in pre-production, but I'll say it again.
I'll say it in pre-production, but I'll say it again.
Right, here we go. He laughs. He sits back on his chair. The chair rolls back too far. We've all been there, right? The chair rolls back too far. So evil henchman number 3 comes and rolls it back. He rolls it back. And he was like, fascinating. Tell me, what are your plans for this evening? And Scott said something. You shush. Scott said something about he had something to do with some friends or something. He was like, and that's how you choose to live your life, right? Scott looks at him, yeah, pretty much, yeah. He's like, oh, just, and he goes to hit the button. He goes to hit the button and sends him down to the pits of hell, right? Between Frau, hits him with the thing. And he was like, I want you to meet Daddy's nemesis, Austin Powers. And then he says, hey, just send him over here, right? I can't remember exactly what he said. Send him over here. And he was like, oh, he's only going one guard? Well, he could get away. He said, no. I'm going to leave him alone and I'm not going to witness them die. And I'm just going to see on what to play. What, right? That's what sold me on the movie right there, that scene. Because when he said that, it reminded me of every James Bond and Batman 1960s show.
Word up.
You leave him alone, right? And you just think, oh, no.
Well, with that, the mic has signaled that it is time to go to our next commercial.
Wow, that's funny.
So, one moment, guys. We'll be right back. Thanks for watching Unpopular Review. Take a look at these brief messages. All right, and we're back, and we are going into our next segment, guys. Something that we've all...
Shall we?
I completely forgot about that one because it's such a horrible movie. But let's go on to our next
Facts.
Our next segment, recasted. So we're going to go first again with Mr. Danger. Go right ahead.
Danger is my middle name.
Oh, excuse me.
All right, so I just had to, you know what I mean? I really enjoy everybody who's in this. I think they did a great job. They were true to their characters, as I always say. But there was one character in particular. I looked at him and I said, you know what? This is weird because, you know, they say everybody has a doppelganger. And I said, this guy reminds me of somebody. I want them to switch roles. They could play the other person, right? And that unnamed general, that Russian general in the beginning when Austin Powers is de-thawed, who didn't really have lines in the movie except to scrunch his face, I think we could have recasted him with this guy. If you remember, He is the man that kept screaming "rent" in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. Spider-Man, who never paid rent, yet was able to build that suit and have all those gadgets. But that's the guy. So I want to switch the general for this guy, the rent guy, and I thought that would be a pretty close switch. But also somebody else. I kept looking at it and I said, I don't know if this is who they were going for, but they just there was something about them that just reminded me. We're talking about Lot of Vagina. This one right here, that's the character name, Lot of Vagina. I don't know what it is in real life. All right. But I said, when I looked at that picture, I said, there's somebody who looks like that to me.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Definitely.
I said, man, this looks just like Selma Hayek. There's something about her that reminds me. So I said, it'd be fun to put Selma Hayek in it. And we know she can do funny roles and everything like that. So I said, it would be great to see her as
it's the face shape, I think.
Because she was a villain, but as a nemesis, you know? So I think that would be great.
I agree. I think it's all in the face. Something about that face looks like Selma Hayek. I can see it for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It was. I don't know. Maybe it's the facial structure,
it's the decolletage and the face shape.
Mm-hmm. No, her
it's
face
it
reminded me so much of Selma Hayek, and I said, "Man, this has to be like Selma Hayek."
Mm-hmm. I can see it.
We're up to you for recasted, and that was Mark's recasted. So Chris is gonna go to you.
Pretty much. No, you know why? Because honestly, I felt this about this person. I felt this way, but now that you said Selma Hayek, I kind of see it. I do see the Selma Hayek, but like I felt this way because I just felt like anybody could have been her character. You know what I mean? That's basically you know how I felt about her. But I definitely do see the Selma Hayek. Yeah, nobody else can really be recast in this movie.
So you think anybody could carry a lot of vagina? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anybody could be a lot of vagina.
Anybody. Okay.
All right. So that brings on
the village bicycle, baby.
Yeah.
So there was one character, and I didn't realize this because I saw this movie a long time ago. And when I looked at the cast now, I just realized that his name is not just Basil, it's Basil Exposition. And that is just so funny because that's exactly what he is. But when I saw this guy again, I was thinking, who could play this character? Who could be this man? Because I was having issues recasting anyone because, again, it was so perfectly cast. But I thought, boom, right there.
I'll give you that. I'll give
Sir
you
Patrick Stewart. He could definitely play.
I give you that.
And because I like to recast the same character multiple times, it's my thing. I have so many thoughts on these characters here. I said, just in case, who else can play this man? And I thought, I'm not sure, but let me throw it out there and see if it catches. Timothy Dalton. He was 007 before. He has a little experience with the spy thing. I can see him being an older, playing that older role and, you know, having all this info about, you know, the spy agency and sending people out on missions. That could be Basil. Boom. Yeah. Those are my two recasted, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Basil. That makes me laugh so much.
Who are you recasting, if anybody?
All right.
Vincent?
All right, I got two. I actually just thought about them because I was going up and down with these. We all know who Michael Caine is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can see Michael Caine playing the character that you just talked about.
Basil?
Yes.
Okay.
I because he's played Alfred.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think, you know, isn't he? He's in Kingsman too, isn't he?
Oh, okay. Now I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it.
I think
that is a good movie.
I honestly think he would be a good because like he has that look.
I agree.
You know? Also, not Mrs. Kensington. Who's the other lady?
Vanessa?
Yes, Elizabeth Hurley. I could see Gwyneth Paltrow switching roles.
Wait, as Vanessa?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. Not because of the blonde hair. Just because if you watch her in Avengers as Annie Potts, she has that like caring mommy kind of sense of humor, and that's what I think that she had in the beginning when she was trying to get Austin Powers like from being frozen and unstupid. You know, you get what I'm saying? Or am I just being dumb?
I don't know. I'm with you on the first recast, and I'm not so much on the second.
Thurman, because she played Emma Peel in the Avengers remake in the 90s, you know, with that, and they had that black cat suit that they both wore, and that's who Vanessa is supposed to be an allegory for, not an allegory, but a spoof of Emma Peel in the Avengers. In that Avengers, I'll see that. I'm struggling to see Gwyneth Paltrow, but I'll give you the Michael Caine. I definitely can see that.
I agree.
All right, Doctor, who do you have?
Oh, so for me, it was really tough because I think everyone pretty much played their roles. But if we were doing like maybe an alternate version of it, I could see the lead, Mike Myers, being played by Martin Lawrence. You know, he's done multiple characters for comedy, you know, his show. So, you know, he could play those. You know, he's funny. You know, I'm not a huge fan of Martin, the show, but I definitely like Martin.
Oh,
I know that's like fighting words in the black community, but
what?
Still,
you don't like Shanae?
No, I'm not here on this recap. I don't see it.
But I can see Martin playing the lead and being those different characters and still making it work.
Speaking of that, we got to do Big Mama's House.
We do.
You know what, Rashad? I'll give you that. If I'm thinking of it like what's the one? If he's like the black spy, I forget the name. The name escapes me. Undercover Brother. You know, it wouldn't work for me
Eddie
as
something
British Austin Powers, but like as Undercover Brother, how Eddie Griffin played that character.
Right. Yeah, like I was saying, like it'll be a different imagining. It wouldn't be him as a British guy, but
yeah, I can definitely see
him being like still, you know, like the horny spy, but then also, you know, being the Dr. Evil, you know, I can see him being like a spoof of this spoof.
Definitely. I'll give you that. Yeah. Now, Chris is currently talking to someone who no one can see but him. But again, don't worry, because it's all in his cup.
I'm just going to say.
And Chris, back to your recasting. And that was Chris's recasting.
Right, beautiful. I'm just going to put it up right here. Where is Karen? Where is she? Boom. He's recasting
with,
this young lady.
You see how useful Karen is? Karen is on the job today.
Karen is the fourth host or the fifth host because she's always on this.
Entered a dimension of
always here.
A dimension of grand solo cups.
How many drinks do you think Chris had tonight?
Oh,
about 6. How about 6 or 7?
Oh, okay.
I don't know how long he's been there.
Were there? How many Infinity Stones? I think he's had as many cups as there are Infinity Stones.
He'll realize it once I take the ticker off. He'll be like, "Oh, you skipped me."
He's in the end game right now. I can tell by his eyes.
Right.
He's literally just having a conversation with himself. Maybe there's a mirror.
On the final thoughts.
What if he was having a conversation with himself? Wouldn't that be pretty funny?
It would be.
That would be hilarious.
If it's not in the cup, we need to get help. Hey, Chris, how you doing, buddy? Do you have anything recasted? We were just talking about it.
Are you ready?
F you to all of y'all. I did not have anything to drink within reason tonight. So screw you for asking that question.
Within reason.
Can I get to my recasting, Rashad? Are you done? Can I get to my recasting?
He's been done.
We've been waiting for you.
So I got my recasting, right? This movie was so perfectly cast. It was starring Mike Myers and Mike Myers. That's all you need. But if I were to recast it, I would have changed Dr. Evil, and here's who I would have changed him with. Donald Pleasence is the original character, right? This is him from 1967's You Only Live Twice with Sean Connery. This is who Dr. Evil was based off of, right? So I would replace that. Besides that, I probably would have replaced Elizabeth Hercley with Drew Barrymore, but I didn't upload the picture yet. So that's it for my recast. So, ladies and gentlemen, at the 45-minute mark, we go to a commercial and then go to our final thoughts. At the 1 hour, 5-minute mark, we're going to go into our final thoughts of the evening. But we're going to do that when we come back from these 2 commercials for our next Tuesday.
Out of time for commercial? What's going on?
Right, no time for commercials. Straight to final thoughts.
We do have time for commercial. We always have time for commercial because I got to get my bearings together. We'll be right back.
And I forget who reported this, but I thought it was bullshit anyway because it was Ringside News that reported it first, and then I was like, oh well, it seems bullshit to me. So the rumor was that Lana, because she was on her TikTok promoting this energy drink called Bang. There she is right there. This looks like a Photoshop picture, but so apparently this was the picture that got everybody in hot water over third-party usage and whatnot, using their likeness to promote other stuff. And Lana was quick to tweet out that this was bullshit. Chris, have you ever banged?
No.
You've never had a bang?
No.
When you drink more than one at a time, let's say you have 3 bangs at a time, is that a threesome?
No. I've never had a bang on a Mountain Dew while on coke. No, I've never done. I've never done any of this. No.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. UPR does wrestling too every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Immediately after Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, we do Unpopular Review. We also do movies every Tuesday and Thursday with the crew that you see right here, plus or minus 2. So you'll see that, as well as if you are into 2K19, we do a video game edition and sports coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, we do it all here at UPR. Make sure that you follow us and like us at Unpopular.review or Unpopular Review on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We're right back here on Unpopular Review Entertainment Edition, talking about 1997's Austin Powers starring Mike Myers, and we're into our final thoughts. Last time we did this was Wonder Woman, where 3 people gave it a thumbs up and 1 person gave it a thumbs down. Or I should say 4 people gave it a thumbs up and 1 person gave it a thumbs down. And then last week we did Romeo and Juliet, where 1 person gave it a thumbs up and everybody else
gave it a thumbs up.
I forgot. Somebody must have been on coke. But 2 people gave it a thumbs up and 2 people gave it a thumbs down. Let's find out where Austin Powers is going to go, and we're going to start off with none other than the Austin Danger Powers. Austin, take it away.
All right, you can put it back, or I like it when I
know. I got to do it right.
Now, before I get into my final thought, because apparently we have all the time in the world, let me just say kudos to that Dr. Seuss commercial that you just played that we had to rush to get to. With the Pepsi, could you, with the ginger ale. That was thrilling, and I'm glad that I saw it. But back to this movie that we're supposed to be talking about. And in honor of Austin Powers, I have these right here.
Nice.
See that?
Oh yeah.
And I'll give one final quote.
Looking psychedelic, baby.
Movie, but spectacle. I can't even. Spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch. Okay. So what do I think about this movie? Final thought. I think that the characters are so true to their portrayal. I love the fact that no one steps out of line to the point where it's just ridiculous. But everything that everybody does, it's in keeping with who the character is supposed to be. Somebody who I love that we see who's a recurring character is Will Ferrell's Mustafa. I love the fact that they set that up where he goes into this pit, this inferno. He survives it somehow through his healing regeneration. And then the guy comes in there and shoots him. Now, it seems like everybody just wants to hurt him, but not kill him, because the guy who shoots him in the arm, and he says, "Why would you shoot me in the arm? Why not just put me out of my misery?" And then he's just dragged away. The next time we see him again, he's out of breath because he's been chasing Austin Powers and Felicity Shag very well, and he's by the side of the cliff, and he has the dagger, and he falls off, and his leg is broken, and he has become gangrenous. And it smells like peanuts and cashews. So I just love that. But everybody is so true to who they are. I love the fact, as I said earlier and alluded to, that this movie is so testosterone fueled. And it's so true to how sometimes guys talk. Guys and girls, if we're going to say it that way, men and women are different. They should not talk the same. They don't think the same. They shouldn't act the same. It goes against who they are. The reality of the situation is we're raised differently based on our genders, right? That's the world. I'm not saying it's perfect, but that's the reality of the situation. Austin Powers is a famous guy from the 1960s, right? He got all the women. So why wouldn't he be the same guy in the 1990s, right? And as much as Vanessa hated him, she kind of liked it because, as she says, all the guys were, these cookie cutter, they were very politically correct. And she didn't want that. There was a part of her body that needed to be tickled, right? That these, posh and polite guys couldn't reach. And Austin Powers was the one to do that. Even before we found out about his mojo, he had his mojo. And I love the continuity of that. So this movie is going to get a thumbs down from me. Hey, this movie's going to get a thumbs up from me. I just had to see Chris's reaction because it's a great movie, even though the second one is my favorite.
All right, that is coming from Austin Danger Powers. As he gives the movie the thumbs up that it deserves, now we're going to go into the Mark Victor Rodriguez. Vic, take it away.
Okay. No offense, but if that's a woman, that it looks like she's been hit with nothing. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was just another one that I had to point out because that one was great.
Can I say I'm in DC right now and I've seen a few.
Yes. Here we go.
That's awesome. Okay. So, above all else, this movie is, I think it's just an icon of the end of the 90s. I think this is one of the, because at the end of the 90s, there was just it was just Dr. Evil hysteria. It was just everywhere. Especially just with Michael Myers and Austin Powers and everything. I just remember that time. This movie brought back a ton of memories. It's very, very funny. I'm so happy that I'm doing this because I haven't seen this movie in over 10 years, and I really don't have anything bad to say about it. I had a tough time just finding a negative thing to say about this movie. There's just so many quotes, so many scenes, and honestly, I agree with everything that James was saying earlier, as far as this is testosterone filled. Especially what that meant back then, and how guys think and how guys talk, and it's just refreshing because I really was inspired by this movie to live that way in my 20s and just be direct and say how you feel and what you mean. And some people took it well, some people took it very well. Yeah, baby. But and some people were just like, oh, but at the end of the day, the reality of the situation, it saves so much time. You're being yourself, and that's one of the best things about Powers. So bottom line, thumbs up for me. Okay, you can uncensor me now. Yeah.
Okay, let's go right into it.
Oh yeah, wait, and there's a sequel. There's a sequel to this movie.
Yes.
That's important for you, Vic.
Because there's a sequel.
So that's it. So
there's
see the superior. It is on you. Let's take it away. Thumbs up, thumbs down, 5 thumbs. No, I already put you in.
Let's do that right here. So the movie was it was funny. I enjoyed the movie. It was raunchy, but it wasn't over the top raunchy. It wasn't one of those that didn't age well because it was just so inappropriate. It was just a funny movie. So keep it short and sweet. Thumbs up. Good movie. I enjoyed it. Boom. Beautiful. On to Vincent.
Okay, well that's what I'm gonna do.
That's awkward. Hi.
I really enjoyed the movie. I always enjoy a Michael Myers movie. I really can't say that I've seen a bad movie by Michael Myers, but I feel like his career is set on these Austin Powers, and The first one is good. The second one's good. The third one's not the greatest. But this is a movie that I can watch over and over again, and it won't get tiring. So 2 thumbs up.
All right, and that was coming from Hey Yo Vincent. You can have his subs in Orlando at La Spada's restaurant. I recommend it, and I'll plug it every time because Lord knows they're delicious. They are delicious. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going. Where does he superior? Okay, never mind. Anyway, we're going to go into none other than the next doctor. Next doctor, take it away. Final thoughts. Thumbs up. Thumbs down.
Final thoughts. Well, I think it's already been said. Most of the stuff. I mean, this was a great movie. You know, it did age well. There were some jokes that were a little off, but that's kind of to be expected for a comedy. You know, not everything is going to hit, but I don't think it detracts from the overall enjoyment of the film. You know, again, like I said at the beginning, the opening sequence sets the mood. You know, testosterone filled. You know, hilarious, doesn't take itself seriously, and you enjoy that ride all the way to the end. So definitely thumbs up from me.
All right, the added pressure for me has been 5 thumbs up. Unprecedented. 5 thumbs up here on Popular Review Entertainment Edition. Talking about Austin Powers, let's go ahead with the facts. This movie made 7.0 out of 10 on IMDb.com. It cost $16.5 million to make $67 million. It made worldwide, 53 of it came from the United States. This movie did not do that well in the box office, but what made this movie put over the top is the VHS sales. Yes, for you young kids, there was something called VHS. Now, that being said, I did not see this in the theater. Somebody put me onto this movie, and I loved it ever since. Am I going to give this a thumbs up, thumbs down? Stay tuned. Watch out. Let's talk about the good of this movie. The good of this movie is it was funny as heck. Funny as heck. Mike Myers showing his comedic chops as he played the character of Austin Powers, which was funny, but the even funnier character of Dr. Evil, a character that's so beloved today. One of the greatest iconic characters of all times in movies. This movie, as you can see, even when we're talking about scenes, favorite scene, least favorite scene, we're talking about quotes. When you're talking, can you hear me? All right. When you're talking about quotes, we're talking about recasting. We're still talking about this movie is full of excellent quotes. So, ladies and gentlemen, this movie is great in almost everything it does. As far as bad things in this movie, it's not a lot of bad things I can say. I went in this movie with low expectations, which is always a thing for me, and it exceeded them, and it still exceeds them to this day. So when it comes to so when it comes to a thumbs up or thumbs down, this movie gets a thumbs up from me. 6 thumbs up for this movie. My pick, I might add. Austin. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching us here at Unpopular Review Entertainment Edition. 6 thumbs up. We'll be back here next Tuesday for Justice League. 9 o'clock on Tuesdays. Make sure that you go ahead and watch us. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'll be having
Vincent
next week for
the best sub maker in the United States, La Spada. For the next doctor, for the Mark Victor Rodriguez, for Austin Danger Powers, who does not need a penis larger pump,
with me
and see the superior.
I'll take a shot to that.
We'll take a shot. We'll take some shots.
Chris, the executive consultant, and we'll see you next time here at Unpopular Reviews. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Good night, y'all.
Be seeing you.